What happens when the world quietly stops needing your money? Not slowly, not politely, but all at once. Because when global demand for a currency collapses, the currency doesn't adjust, it falls. And if the US dollar were to lose just 30% of its value against other major currencies, the shock would be immediate. Overnight, everything America imports would become dramatically more expensive. Energy, electronics, food, industrial components, everyday goods. Prices wouldn't creep up, they would jump. This isn't theory. This is arithmetic. Now zoom out and look at the U.S. government itself. America is sitting on roughly $38 trillion in debt. Today, interest payments alone are already over $1 trillion per year. That's with relatively low average rates. But debt doesn't stay fixed forever. It rolls over. It gets refinanced. And if average interest rates rise to levels we've seen many times before, say 6 or 7% annual interest costs explode, suddenly, the government is paying more in interest than it collects from individual income taxes. At that point, the budget stops being political. It becomes mathematical. You can't cut enough spending. You can't raise enough taxes. The only lever left is money creation, and that's where the feedback loop begins. More money printing fuels inflation. Inflation weakens a currency. A weaker currency forces even more money printing. This is not a crash. It's a spiral. Now think about what that means for daily life. The modern American standard of living is built on two pillars: cheap imports and cheap credit. Remove either one and life gets harder. Remove both and the middle class gets crushed. Your paycheck might rise a few percent, but prices rise much faster. 20%, 30%, more. Suddenly groceries feel expensive. Rent feels unbearable. Retirement savings quietly lose value every year, not because you failed, but because the system changed beneath you. And this isn't alarmism. It's what happens when a country loses reserve currency dominance. So the real question isn't the world is changing. It's how far along we already are. Because while headlines argue infrastructure is being built, for years, alternatives to the dollar were dismissed as talk, empty meetings, symbolic gestures. But beneath the noise, something else was happening. Systems were being constructed, new payment rails, new settlement mechanisms, new trade agreements that don't touch the dollar at all. This didn't start yesterday. First came the discussion phase, when countries began questioning dollar dependence. Then came the construction phase, where parallel systems quietly took shape. Messaging networks outside SWIFT, payment platforms that bypass Western banks, trade settlements in local currencies, coordinated gold accumulation on a massive scale. Those weren't political statements. They were engineering decisions. And now, those systems are no longer experimental. They're operational. Major energy trades are settling without dollars. Bilateral trade between large economies is increasingly dollar-free. Central banks are diversifying reserves at the fastest pace in decades. The shift isn't global, and it doesn't need to be. This is the part most people misunderstand. The dollar doesn't have to disappear to lose power. It just has to lose exclusivity. History already showed us this. There was a time when the British pound dominated global trade. It didn't collapse overnight. It slowly lost relevance as alternatives grew strong enough to function without it. The pound still existed, but it no longer ruled the system. That's how monetary transitions actually happen, not with explosions, but with options. And once enough countries realize they can trade, settle, and store value outside the dollar system, demand quietly drains away. Every trade that doesn't require dollars is demand destruction. Every reserve diversification reduces dependency. Every new participant strengthens the alternative network. This is a classic network effect. At first, it looks weak. Then it reaches a tipping point. After that, it accelerates faster than anyone expects. We're not watching a prediction. We're watching adoption curves. And adoption curves don't move in straight lines. They move slowly until they don't. The uncomfortable truth is this: reserve currency status is not permanent. It's earned, maintained, and eventually lost when the incentives change. And right now, incentives are changing. Countries want control. They want insulation from sanctions. They want monetary sovereignty. And they're building the tools to get it. The dollar doesn't need to go to zero for this to matter. It just needs to stop being mandatory. That's when the privilege ends. And when the privilege ends, the consequences ripple through everything government finances: inflation, savings, wages, and the lived experience of everyday people. This isn't a warning meant to scare you. It's a framework meant to prepare you. Because the biggest risk isn't change itself. It's being the last to realize the system has already changed. If you want more breakdowns like this, calm, logical, and grounded in reality, make sure to subscribe. Because understanding the shift is the first step to surviving it.